What's up guys, because just like any other YouTuber, I'm a self-absorbed egoistical attention whore. Let's talk about myself. A few months ago, actually maybe years, I don't remember, I did 25 facts about me, and you know what? People like that. I still don't get why, because I don't think I'm interesting. But it did flatter my ego. And you know, tonight I was like, I need to make a video. What could I do? A French video? There will probably be one on Sunday. A comedy sketch! And then I remember that I'm just not funny. I know, a tag or a child. No, I have no friends. So I had only two choices left. A prank or talking about myself. That was like choosing between Scylla and Charybdis. And I chose Charybdis. I can't help it. I love big mouths, you know. I'm French. And let's face it, I also wanted to get my ego flattered one more time, with people being like, oh, you're so cool, when really I'm not. But as I already did a 25 facts about me, I had to go further, deeper, faster. Why does that ring a bell? That's what my girlfriend told me yesterday. What? All that to say that to go further, I have to give you the craziest facts about myself, the ones that no one knows in this world. I have to give you my naked. Anyway, the 10 craziest facts about me, I hope you'll enjoy. Number 1, I have 205 bones. Yes, I counted them one by one. Don't believe me? Okay, 1, 2, 3. If you didn't know it, by adulthood, a normal human body has 206 bones. Yeah, I counted them too. 1, 2, 3. 206 bones, can you imagine that? Like, I mean, did you already break a bone? Do you see how painful that is? So when I speak to my different personalities and they tell me that the worst death is suffocation, I'm like, no, you're wrong! The worst death is to get all your bones crushed one by one. Yes, I concede I have strange conversations with my split personalities. But at the same time, it's already weird to be 7 in one body, don't you think? So let's return to the subject. Stop that! Good. So, the subject, yeah, I have 205 bones. You know what that means? That means that if both of us die with our bones crushed one by one, I will suffer less than you. But Ernest, that's not that crazy. I mean, you're talking about the craziest facts about yourself. Yeah, I might have exaggerated that a little bit just to, you know, get a climax and be like, yeah, everyone craziest. Let me explain you how I went to this number, because no, that's not natural. I was born with 270 bones, like everyone, and they Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. I mean, they, you know, it's a fusion card and they fused together to go down to 206. Like, that was a Yu-Gi-Oh joke. Yeah. I'm so funny. No, I'm really not. But Ernest, you said 206! Yes, my young Padawan. Well noted. I used to have 206. I used to be like you. I used to be normal before becoming a master boner. That sounded better in my mind. Yeah. So, the 205 bones are due to an accident. I always had a passion for snowboarding, skiing, and I used to love doing tricks. And one day I went full on this kicker and I was like, yes, I'm going to go with this double backflip. And then I stopped in the middle and fell straight 3 meters high on the edge of the kicker. That was breathtaking! In the literal sense. I couldn't breathe for like, according to my father, 10 minutes. World record! Anyway, I fell. And after getting back my breath, I was like, nah, I'm okay, all good in the hood, let's get back. And so we went down. And then the night after, I felt a bit dizzy. So I went to the hospital. Head trauma, which explains myself, and I completely wrecked, ruined, smashed, crashed, blasted, shattered the cartilage between two of my dorsal vertebrae. But you might think that this doesn't explain why I have 205 bones instead of 206, and then you'd be wrong, my young beetle, because without the cartilage, both vertebrae fused together into one, meaning that I have one less vertebra than you, my young camerups. Number 2, I saw someone killing himself in front of me. Say something. That's awkward now. Sorry for this lull in the conversation. So yeah, someone committed suicide in front of myself while I was waiting for the subway. Yeah, not the sandwich. So I was in Paris and yeah, I told you, I hate Paris. There are reasons why I hate this city. And it's mostly Parisians. So I was waiting for the RER to go to the airport because I was leaving the city. I was like, yes, I'm going to leave. And then the train is coming and I'm like, yes, go step. And there's this guy who just went full on and there was Heinz ketchup absolutely everywhere. I never saw my French fries the same way after that. And as terrible as it might sound, and as traumatized as I was, my first thought was, damn it, I'm going to miss my plane. It happened so quickly and I was like so traumatized by what I just saw that I just couldn't think properly. Of course, after that, when I missed my flight and waited for the next one, I had the time to process what happened, and that's when like everything went down and I was like, what? I didn't know the guy and I still don't know about him. I don't know what pushed him to do that. But guys, there's one thing that I know. If you want to do that, don't. No, seriously, don't. I mean, do it in your room to bother no one. Don't jump in front of a train that people need to take to go to the airport to leave this city! I wanted to leave Paris! That's inhuman! Okay, heartless joke about suicide done. What's next? Sexism? Racism? No, but seriously, I know I'm able to make borderline jokes about it now, but that traumatized me so much that, and I'm going to jump to my number 3 with that, right after this event, I joined the suicide hotline for almost a year. I could make an entire video about that and tell me if you want me to make a full video about it. I can't really say anything quickly about this experience. It was at the same time an amazing human experience and a terrible and horrible experience. Hopefully I was able to help at least a few people. I mean, every time I talk about that I'm becoming emotional, but guys, despite me joking about it before, there's help, and if you do feel alone, if you do feel lonely, if you do feel that no one's understanding you anymore, there are people out there, there are people here to listen to you, to talk to you. People who sometimes have experienced it and who are able to understand your feelings. And I know sometimes it's hard to live. And it's really hard, really tough when society puts pressure on yourself, and I'll come back to that point later in the video. But no matter what is happening, remember that you only have one life. And that there are people who lived that, who fought that, and who are still alive. And so are you right now, despite living what you lived, despite all that. Be proud of who you are. You need to continue fighting against that and live, because life is the most valuable thing that you have. Okay, number 4. I had to take like half an hour break after the number 3, and I'm so let's go back to something that is a bit lighter, shall we? Both my parents are architects, and my parents, thanks to their particular set of skills, found pretty famous clients, and they didn't kill them, they made their houses. And out of those clients was Larry Mullen. Some of you might not know him because you're probably too young, but he's the drummer of the band U2. I'm a drummer, so when I saw him as a client, I was like, what? That was like freaking amazing to me. That was like crazy. That was like having a cucumber in front of myself. I had the opportunity to play the drums with him. And that was freaking amazing, and I love that, and that's so cool! Number 5, some of you might have seen that I got hypnotized a few months ago. Well, since then, I learned hypnosis. I learned how to do it. And I hypnotized my first patients not long ago. I know that some of you are skeptical about that. Some of you might not believe that it is true. Yet it is, and it's explained by science. There's an actual neural basis behind hypnosis. And I mean, that's a really complex topic, and if you want me to, I will make an entire video about it. But roughly, when you're in a hypnosis state, that just means that you're in a peculiar state of consciousness. To explain it really roughly, your brain can be in 2 different states. Can actually be in many more than that, but we'll just look at 2, which are the conscious state and the unconscious one. Not talking about unconscious like but talking about automatisms and things that you're doing without even realizing you're doing them. So on a daily basis, you are doing new things. For example, you have a conversation with someone. Each new conversation is a new thing. In that, you're in your conscious state of mind because you're conscious of the conversation and you're putting effort into making the conversation lively. Some others are automatisms. They are unconscious. You are doing them, but you did them so many times before. It's part of your routine. One great example, if you're driving to your job every single day or to your university or anywhere, but something that you're doing every single day, going from point A to point B and then point B to point A. Think about all your last travels. Do you remember them? Because I don't. Those travels become automatisms. When you get into your car, your brain kinda switch off and be like, okay, it's part of my routine. And unless you're having a crazy event that's happening, like a thunderstorm or a kaiju, you will just not remember how the trip was, because for your brain, it's part of a routine. There's no need to allocate resources to this travel. Well, hypnosis is really roughly that. You're making your brain switch to the unconscious part. The unconscious part is also the part that you're using when you're dreaming, meaning that it's highly receptive to suggestions. So it's kind of like being in an awake dream phase. Of course, it's much more complex than that because you're still awake, you're still conscious of what you're doing, and it actually makes really funny situations when you're under hypnosis because your body is reacting away because of your brain, but you're still here and conscious of how you react, and you're like, why am I reacting this way? That's like, why? Which is really funny. But yeah. So let's move on to number 6. Okay, number 6. I'm Spider-Man, but without the powers. I love spiders. What? Dislike and unsubscribe. And there's a reason why I love spiders. And most of you guys, when you will know it, will think that I'm completely crazy and should hate them instead of loving them. But you know, Stockholm Syndrome. When I was really young, and by really young I mean really young, I was like less than 2 years old, I broke my leg. And I ended up having a cast on both my legs because I was too young and too small to have a cast on only one leg. So yeah, I had my cast. So far, so good. And after a while, I felt something was scratching inside. And when I was younger, I wasn't like I'm now. I mean now, when I just like scratch my finger, and I'm just like, I'm gonna die! When at that time, well, to explain it to you, I had a spheroid compound fracture of the femur. And when I went to the hospital, the doctors didn't believe it, because I was smiling and everything in front of them. Until my parents showed them the bone that was outside of the leg. So yeah, all that to say that I wasn't really the kind to say that something wasn't good if it wasn't really, really bad. And I was telling my mother every day and night that it was scratching so hard in my leg, and that was terrible. So my mother asked the doctors to remove the cast. They accepted to remove the cast to find a hole in my leg of about 1/4 inch deep, full of dead spiders. Yup, a mommy spider went there, found the place warm and humid, just like your sister, and she ate my flesh and created a nest. How poetic is that? I love spiders! Okay, number 7! Let's go back to something darker, because I told you that I would talk about a specific subject later in the video. So it's that time. I was bullied for a really long time. And by bullied, I mean I got hit, I got my money and meals stolen, I was named the worst possible things. They even created rumors about myself. I mean, when I think about it, I was freaking important in their lives. I mean, so much effort to put me down. I was the center of their universe. Time can heal everything. Time takes its time. It sounds stupid, but that's true. And it took me years to feel better. But in the end, it does heal everything. I don't really see the point to talk more about that, but saying that, yes, I lived all that, and that was for 8 full years of my life, and that I did think about the escape rope several times. To be fair, the fact that I didn't do that is the thing that I'm the most proud of in my life. I told you, we only have one life, and if I didn't fight, I wouldn't be here right now. I wouldn't be here talking to you. I wouldn't be here with my perfect girlfriend. I wouldn't be here with my family that I truly love. I wouldn't have all that because I wouldn't be anymore. So I don't have much more things to say about that. Yes, it was horrible, but it made me stronger. It gave me my will to help people. It gave me my will to live. And if I have to say anything to those little bastards, is thank you. Because thanks to that, you've ruined your lives. And you made mine better. Karma, bitches! And we're going to number 8, and I never opened myself so much. Like, I'm not even talking about the channel. I'm like legit never opened myself so much in my life. But yeah, we're going to number 8, and from now on it's going to be only positivity, I promise you. Promise you. Yeah, that. So my number 8 is I had the opportunity to dive with sharks, from like the smallest ones to the great whites. I had the opportunity to dive with dolphins, with killer whales, and that's something that I find freaking amazing. And yes, from now on I'm trying to go faster because my life is not interesting enough for you guys to continue watching, and I probably already lost 99% of you. And yes, I'm losing time now. So number 9, I spent 3 months alone in northern Canada Into the Wild way. So I don't know if you've seen or read Into the Wild, but basically that's the story of Christopher McCandless, who rejected society to go hitchhiking and live alone in Alaska. He died in the end. Spoiler. Well, I did the same, but I didn't die in the end. Spoiler. I lived there for 3 full months, alone with my fishing rope, my tent, the cold, and it was the freaking most amazing and mind-blowing experience of my entire life. And on that note, the number 10, my best friend and I, that's like also a few years ago, but we saved a girl from being raped. Okay, while saying it, I realized that it's not really positive. But the positive thing is that we did save her! We were walking back home after an amazing night. Everything was great and we couldn't think that anything could happen. And so we were going back home, and after one point we heard someone screaming. And the scream came from a really tiny street on the side of the main street that we were walking in. At first we didn't really pay attention about it until we heard a second scream and realized that there was absolutely no one doing anything or going there. So we looked at each other and at first were ready to do this basic and bullshit human reaction, which is, you know, if we make it as we didn't hear it, then it didn't happen. But we decided to go. We were like, you know what, we had a great night, we're both of us, we're strong, young, and that makes no sense what I'm saying, but let's go to see what it is. And we just arrived in that street, and there was this girl and two guys. One was trying to hold her with one hand on her mouth and one hand on her hips, while the other was trying to do the deed. And so when we saw that, we were just like, well, we're here now, so fuck it. And we just went straight, and I jumped on one of them, pushed him away, my friend pushed the other away, and we started fighting. And I guess luck was on our side, because it did end up on a happy ending. I did get a scar that I still have on my back, because one of those guys had a knife, and believe me, that shit hurts. But we still managed to get her out of trouble, and yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't really know what to say more than that. I'm really sad in a way, because I'm really sad that we had to do that. It's just something that, I mean, you saw my video on rape culture, and that's something that should never happen, that should not exist, but it does. And so, based on the fact that it does exist, I guess that the fact that it ends up well in the end is a great thing. I'm really glad we went in this street that day, because that probably helped to save a life, literally. And that's something I think is great in a lifetime. So, yeah. And now I should finish with my usual putain, so let's do that. Putain! And this is the end of the 10 craziest facts about me. I hope you liked the video. If you did, don't forget to put a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to my channel. Go follow me on all my social medias, because there you will not learn more facts, because I legit told you everything. You can also support me on Patreon, because I really need to think of ideas before doing the video. And no matter what happens, I will see you in my next video. Have an amazing day. Don't forget to smile, and bye-bye.